Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this guide for Harmony Trailblazer, I'll be giving you her best relics, Lightcones, team comps, rotations, pros and cons, and whether you should build her. For her kit, basic ATK deals imaginary DMG equal to 130% of the Trailblazer's ATK to a single enemy. Skill deals imaginary DMG equal to 63% of the Trailblazer's ATK to a single enemy and deals DMG 4 extra times, dealing imaginary DMG equal to 63% of Trailblazer's ATK to a random enemy each time. Talent, immediately regenerates 12.5 energy when an enemy target's weakness is broken. Ultimate, applies the backup dancer effect to all allies, lasting for 3 turns. Decreases its duration by 1 turn at the start of Trailblazers every turn. When allied targets with backup dancer attack an enemy in the weakness broken state, they will deal break DMG 1 additional time based on 120% of the attacker's break DMG in the current attack's toughness reducing DMG. Trace 1. Additionally delays the enemy target's action by 30% when teammates break enemy weaknesses. Trace 2. Additionally increases the first toughness reducing DMG inflicted by the skill in a battle by 100%. Trace 3. When there are 5 or more enemy targets, the break DMG triggered by the backup dancer effect increases by 30%. For every enemy target reduced, the break DMG triggered by the backup dancer effect additionally increases by 10%. Technique. After using technique, at the start of the next battle, all allies' break effect increases by 30%. Lasting for 2 turns. For her Eidolons, E1, recovers 1 skill point after using the skill for the first time in a battle. E2, at the start of the battle, the Trailblazer's energy regeneration rate increases by 25%. Lasting for 3 turns. Not sure if it's every start of the battle or only the first wave. E4, increases the break effect of all allies except the Trailblazer. The increase is equal to 15% of the Trailblazer's break effect plus 30%. E6, increases the skill's additional DMG by 2 hits. Here are her required materials and skill priority. She increases the break effect for all allies and allows them to deal an insane amount of additional break damage when enemies are in the weakness broken state. It's ideal that she runs with units that have a ton of break effect, for example, boothill and pretty much only him for now. Overall, she provides delay action, break effect and enables higher DPS output for break damage during enemies' weakness broken state. You can use her with any break DPS units except for quantum or imaginary DPS due to their low break multipliers. Though for Fuxuan mains, I don't really think she's that good with Harmony Trailblazer as other supports would do better. How to build Harmony Trailblazer. For the body, you want any stats as long as there's a ton of break effect, but if you have defensive main stats, it would be nice. For the boots, you want speed. Substat priority. Total speed till 134, 147, 156 soar. 160. After that, focus on a minimum of 150% break effect, higher is fine but it barely does anything. Lastly, defensive stats and effect res. Now, hyper speed versus low speed. Higher speed breakpoints equals more SP and may result in lower ulti uptime. In short, better for dual DPS setup or Bronya, Sparkle. Low speed equals less skill points and may result in higher ulti uptime. In short, better for less SP teams. Players shouldn't throw any good pieces away, as either SPD breakpoints may be better for your team. For break effect at 150%, honestly, it's more than enough, but if you can get more break effect, I don't see why not. After 150% break effect, there are diminishing returns, as Trailblazer can only give 15% of his or her break effect. It would be better to focus on farming your DPS relics instead, for example, boothill. But players should note that in 2.3 there may be new relics out for boothill. Onto Trailblazer's Relic Set. It's very straightforward. 2-piece messenger for 6% speed or any mixed 2-piece break effect set bonuses. Though 4-piece watchmaker is the best in slot even if you have lesser than 150% break effect since it's a free 30% break effect for boothill. As Trailblazer's additional break effect boost for teammates is way too little. And now for the planar ornament main stat. For the rope, you want break effect for 134 speed or energy regeneration rope for hyper speed. For the orb, HP percent or defense percent. If Trailblazer is tanky enough, you can run any main stats as long as the relic piece has a ton of break effect from the substats. For her planar ornament set, her best in slot is either Fleet of Ageless, Broken Keel, or Talia. Kingdom of Banditry. All three sets are decent, but it's not worth farming relics for Trailblazer, as she isn't really a buffer but more of an enabler. Fleet of the Ageless and Broken Keel are fine, since they would also increase your DPS output even with boothill. Talia gives 5.4 break effect for all allies, and for boothill it equals to 0.54% crit rate and 2.7% crit damage. For Banditry, it's recommended for boothill, as he might need that 5.4% break effect, since break effect is his main source of DPS. Overall, I recommend players to equip Talia, Kingdom of Banditry, since it's boothill's best in slot 2. Now for Trailblazer's Lightcones. In last place, it's S5 Chorus, Carve the Moon and Meshing Cogs. Meshing Cogs may help with ulti uptime for some rotations, and Chorus or Carve the Moon helps to push your DPS slightly. In first place, yes, first place. It's not a mistake. Dance 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 does help to push your teammates up, which means more break and more consistent attacks, where boothill can almost or instantly take action after dealing weakness break, even if you're running Hyperspeed Bronya or Sparkle to make full use of Trailblazer's ultimate effect, which is her main benefit. For Memories of the Past, it has the same benefit as Chorus for the energy region, which may help with ultimate uptime. Honestly, the 56% break effect only gives 8.4 break effect for boothill, which is pretty decent, though I'm expecting players to have this on Ruan Mei instead. Now for Trailblazer's team comp and rotations. You pretty much only want units that do break effect, which is only boothill for now. Players can also run Sushang or Luca. You don't want break effect units which have the quantum or imaginary element like Shui, due to the low break damage multipliers, where it's better to run Ruan Mei instead. Now if you're wondering who's better for boothill, Harmony Trailblazer does increase break effect, allowing you to easily hit 250% to 300% break effect for boothill, and excels at longer fights where enemies are more tanky, where you're able to deal 2 to 3 additional attacks. Ruan Mei is mainly for the res pen and weakness break efficiency for the highest break damage output during weakness break, where she performs better with 1 additional attack, though with her 50% weakness break efficiency she will be equal to 2 attacks for Harmony Trailblazer, which is better for shorter fights. You can even run both units. Overall, one might be slightly better than the other depending on the scenario and your other units too. I won't delve too much into team comps, as this is a Trailblazer guide. However, her best options would be either with Bronya, Sparkle, or Robin, as even if boothill doesn't scale well with buffers, they can push boothill up again for faster weakness break, and they're able to make full use of Trailblazer's ultimate. Pella and Silverwolf also do really well as break effect scales with res pen and defense ignore, which will increase your break damage hugely. Any of these team comps also apply to Ruan Mei. For Trailblazer pros and cons. Pros: she's triple S tier if you're running break effect units like boothill. May not lose out to Ruan Mei and is able to perform better in longer fights. SP positive: insanely F2P friendly, where you don't even need to pull for Ruan Mei or boothill's signature Lightcone. Has action delay, which means better survivability too. Easy and cheap to build. May have potential with more break effect units in the future. Cons: not needed if you have Ruan Mei. Restrictive unit and does poorly with quantum or imaginary break DPS units. May still want to use her skill instead of basic attack for ulti uptime. So should you build Harmony Trailblazer? If you don't have Ruan Mei and if you're planning to pull for boothill? Yes, definitely. If you don't plan on using boothill or break effect DPS units in the future? No. And that's it for this guide. Let me know your thoughts down below.